Thank you for joining us tonight for our 32nd annual poetry contest. They did these poetry contests way before I was here, and I promised the people who did them that I wouldn't stop, so we're still going. What we do is we send out a letter to the Immaculate School, the Tuckahoe schools, Cottle and the middle school, and the Eastchester schools, and Hutch and the Eastchester Middle School. And the teachers get the students to participate. We get all the letters back, and then we send them to our judge, who doesn't know anyone in the area. She'll tell you about herself when she comes up. And when she sends us the winners, then we contact all of you, and then we start making plans for this night. So it's really exciting for us because this is like a long process, and it's something we just totally love here. And when I read the poems of all of the students, for me it's very exciting to see people writing the poems, young people, and then when we hear all of you read your poems. Now, that's the next thing I want to tell you about. If you can, we'd love it if you could read your own poems. If you really feel uncomfortable doing that, we have our youth services librarian who's willing to do it for you, but if you could do it, that would be great. I just want to thank Tom Kennedy for coming and taping tonight's activity, and so you'll be able to see yourselves on cable TV. And also, I wanted to thank Betsy, who is going to come up and tell you about herself. She's our judge, and she actually does all the work. And I wanted to thank Ellen Tannenbaum, who's our youth services librarian, who prepares everything for tonight. And we also have with us the mayor of Tuckahoe, John Fitzpatrick, who will give you all your certificates. So don't leave. After you read your poem, don't leave until you get your book and your certificate and your ribbon, okay? And so anyway, John, do you like to come up?
This one?
This is
I'm liking the new youth librarian. Every year I have to read the poems of the kids that don't come, and I think the longest poems are always the kids that don't come. But also, Trustee Markosha is with us here, a proud parent and a trustee of the village, and also Trustee Margaret Coleman, another proud parent and a board member as well. So, give it over to the poet laureate of Tuckahoe, who shows up once a year to judge this whole operation.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here. This is the 4th year that I've been here doing this, and it's a real privilege, and it's always really, really hard. I want everyone to win. So it takes a while to go through and say no, you know, for some of them, because we get a lot of entries. I'm trying to remember how many we got this year. I lost count, but there were lots, and it's really good. And Ellen was really great at getting, you know, really contacting the schools and making sure that we got even better participation, I think. So thank you, Ellen. So anyway, I am a poet and love writing poetry, and I really love to see kids encouraged to do it, because it's not something we're so encouraged to, you know, do our academic writing, and I think it's just a lifelong love, and it's something you can do, you know, anywhere, anytime. So you guys keep doing it. And I love this library. I love libraries. You guys are really lucky to have dedicated staff here and resources. And I also have a project in Rwanda where I have built one library and I'm working on another one. These kids don't have any books or, you know, materials, and so at this one school they do have them now, and they actually have a writing workshop. So I'm hoping at some point when we get the next one up and running to actually have a poetry workshop, a poetry contest over there, and have a Rwandan judging the poetry contest. It would be great. So anyway, Without further ado, how do I do this again? I forget.
I think we go by grade.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, and then we'll just, do you want to announce the child or?
Sure.
Okay, and then I just read what the judge says and they read their poem.
They read their poem.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Okay, we're going to start with honorable mention for the 3rd grade.
Really?
You've got them here.
Michael. Yep.
We've got Michael Morgan. Come on up. Want to read your poem?
Sure.
Okay.
Should I read the name?
Yep, read the name and the poem.
Drip drop, I feel wet when you touch me. When it rains, pull me. When it rains, pull me light from the bottom and take the rain off me. I look green. I am green grass.
What the judge said. This poem uses personification to convey to the reader what it would be like to be a blade of grass. The poet gives you clues but doesn't tell you at the beginning what he is describing, but leads the reader along, building our curiosity with his descriptions, and that by the end we know what he is characterizing. Next
One is Peter Gherkin.
Okay.
Congratulations, Peter. Your poem's right here. I'll hold that till you read it.
Can you,
Sorry.
can you see that? Here. And you need this. There you go. I'll hold this for you.
Bunny. A bunny is very funny. Its hair looks like a bear. The tail looks like a whale. Its mouth always points south. Its ear is as big as a deer. Its other ear is always near. Its toe is named Mo. Its other toe smells like dough. Its other toes hate the snow, so they're always on the go. The head loves the bed. Its hand has a band. Its other hand loves to be fanned. Its eyes love pies. Its tongue is very young. Its heart is very smart, and it tastes like a tart.
That's great.
Congratulations.
In this poem, which describes a bunny rabbit, the poet uses very clever and original images to describe this particular bunny. Its mouth always points south, and its tongue is very young. So we, the reader, can see the shape of the mouth and the color, pink, of the tongue without the poet having to say it in plain language. The result is that he creates a very vivid picture of what the bunny looks like while having fun. In addition, these word descriptive choices lend a playfulness to the poem. Oops.
And our first place is Vito Marcoscia. Good job, Vito.
Tornado. Tornadoes really twist and twist. Sometimes they make a little mist. If you're near one, they might attack, so you're better off running back. Next thing you know, you will have a frown, but don't worry, you just need to go down.
Good job.
Yeah.
Congrats.
This poem has a good rhythm and pace due to the poet's use of end rhyme and where he places the stress on the syllables in each line. He vacillates between the scarier aspects of tornadoes, twist and they might attack, and a little mist and don't worry, just need to go down. So we get the menacing aspect, but we are reassured as well.
Asia Thrower.
Oops.
She's not here.
Okay.
I'll hold on to Asia.
Well, you're going to read
You
Asia?
want to read Asia?
There you go.
Fast food. Greasy, crunchy, soft long strings, and circled onions called onion rings. No spinach, no green beans or Brussels sprouts. Fast food just wants to make me shout. Subway, Pizzeria, and Burger King, too. And McDonald's makes my belly go boom.
A very tight, concise 6-line poem. It winds up and ends with a fun punch or boom. The rhyming was fun, and in the first line, the reader can identify the fries without having to identify them by name because the description is so accurate. This is an example where the title of the poem helps to place the reader immediately, so we know the poet wants us to picture fries, and the reader is not distracted trying to guess. It's a fun way to get across an important message.
Asia's in the 4th grade, by the way. So this is another, yes, okay. This is another 4th grader, Adriana Santarelli. She's not here either? You're the only guy here from your class? All right.
Okay. All right, Adriana,
Here
go.
comes Adriana's second place poem.
Drip, drop, splash. Drip, drop, splash. Down the water slips and slides, sashaying over the rocks, repeatedly, non-stop. Drip, drop, down falls the rain, washing out the town, jumping from block to block and swishing through the drain. Drip, as the water walks down your face, onto the grass, onto the hot summer day, and it goes away, then gone. Drip, drop, splash.
Great sounds in this poem. In the first stanza, the S sounds help the reader hear the water moving over rocks, and sashaying is such an unusual but wonderful way to characterize the movement of water. Each stanza addresses a different experience with water. One is a stream, one is rain, and one is sweat. In each case, the water is set in motion. The repetitive use of the words drip, drop, splash maintains the immediacy of the encounter with water.
Are you Valerie Miller? First place, Valerie Miller. Come on up. Congratulations.
There you go, sweetie.
Snow, snow, snow. Snow, snow, snow. I see snow coming down, drifting the world, hugging the ground. It has slowed to flurries now. But snow, snow, more will fall. Delight me with your whispering call. I taste sharp icicles on my tongue. Outside my door is a biting cold day, but I still want more snow to come and stay. I smell hot chocolate. I want some right away. Maybe more than one cup this day. I touch the white windowsill. I see my breath. My fingers reach out. I don't mind the chill when marshmallows dance about. I hear the wind blow snow off the trees. Again to the window I go to look. I get too close and sneeze. It is so pretty today. Snow, 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 don't go.
Congratulations.
Congrats. We are called on to use all our senses in this well-crafted poem. There is a mix of very visual with hearing, tasting, smelling, touching the images the poet describes. 2 of the 3 lines in each stanza end in rhyme, creating a pace to the poem that propels the reader from one sense experience to another.
5th grade now.
Yeah, here we go.
Natalie Garcia. Congratulations.
Congratulations, sweetie.
Broadway. Showtime, says the director. You start to dance, you start to sing. You feel butterflies. I feel like I am the only one on stage. You feel like everyone is watching you with every move you make. You are just about to finish your act when you realize it is just a dream.
The poem starts off with action, the director saying, "Showtime." So immediately the reader's placed right into the action with the singing and dancing, and by the 4th line we are in the mind of the performer speaker. The line comes at the reader fast, serving to create a feeling of nervous anticipation. I felt like I had to hold my breath, and the just about in a line toward the end of the poem heightens the tension, which is quickly unraveled by the twist when we, along with the speaker, realize it is a dream. I was finally able to exhale when I got to the last line.
Everyone knows Natalie won last year.
Congratulations.
Okay, you got to start putting together a chapbook now.
Diana Branson.
Summer night. Everything was covered in a black veil. The wind whistles, whispering to me. A glowing firefly crawls out from under a rustling leaf. I'm on the side of the grassy hill on my terry cloth blanket, gazing up at the dark sky.
The moon is up, a shining pearl hidden in the nighttime clouds. Surrounded by clusters of diamonds I call stars. An owl hoots out from a nearby tree, then all is silent. I pick up a fluffy dandelion blossom and blow on it, making a wish I know will come true.
Good. Thank you, honey. Through her careful choice of imagery, the poet creates a very magical, mystical night world. Black veil to describe the night, the wind whispers to the speaker, hinting at something secretive. A very beautiful image of the moon as a shining pearl hidden in clouds. When things go silent and the speaker makes a wish, it suggests that the universe is waiting to receive this wish and will somehow answer.
First place in the 5th grade is Christian Delarmo. You see, this is why it's good to have this.
Oh, that's why you wanted me here. My best friend. My best bud is as reliable as the interlocking mechanism of Lego bricks. He and I connect together through thick and thin. Our friendship is as strong and unique as a new set straight out of the factory. It can defeat the curiosity of little brothers who can destroy hours of hard work with their little hands. But watch out, a little tiff can cause a great crash. But as soon as you can say, Ole Kirk, our bind of bricks will stack up again, ready for a great time once more. This friendship will be as valued as collectibles off eBay.
Here's a fine example of how one metaphor, the Lego bricks, works the whole way through the poem, tying all the imagery together so that the sum is greater than the individual parts. The metaphor of the Legos works on 2 levels. One, the breakage literally of what is being built with the blocks and then put back together. And 2, it serves as the vehicle to convey the speaker's feelings about what can be destroyed and then put together again in relationships. The last line comparing friendship to collectibles on eBay aptly conveys the message the speaker wishes to illustrate to the reader on the value of friendship.
6th grade now. Yamin Safai. Was I close? Congratulations.
Congratulations, sweetie.
Music. A sweet tinkling lullaby, the genuine peaceful notes fluttering in the breeze, soothing me in its hum, letting me flow with its velvet voice, graceful, light as a feather, a serene, pure glow, bringing my mind to a world of imagination and peace, a never-ending rainbow of happiness.
Thank you. Again, we have a poem that opens up the world of our imagination. The speaker lets us know the type of music that transports her to a space where she can find peace and happiness. The poem conveys the soothing qualities of music by the poet's use of concrete images, fluttering in the breeze, velvet voice, light as a feather.
Gabriela Ramirez.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh, to my pencil. You always obey my hands and write anything I want. I can draw with you too. I can draw rivers, people, and dogs, anything. You make me feel like I am boss, like I'm free and I could do whatever I want. I can. You teach people that everyone makes mistakes. If I accidentally mess up, I can simply erase it. Oh, to my pencil. My wonderful Ticonderoga pink and white breast cancer pencil with a small pink eraser. Thank you.
Like the famous Chilean poet and Nobel laureate Pablo Neruda, this poem is a celebration of ordinary, everyday objects we don't usually think are interesting subjects for our poems. He has written hundreds of odes honoring everything from his shoes to tomatoes, books, fish, lemons, and wine. In choosing to meditate on these very specific common objects, our experience of them and our relationship to the world is transformed, offering us a deeper perspective. Here the speaker elevates her wonderful Ticonderoga pink and white breast cancer pencil with a small pink eraser from a simple tool to write words on paper into a window into the poet's mind and also into the longings of the human heart for freedom and the need for forgiveness.
Antoinette. Antoinette? Help me out. How do I say it? Gabrangas? Yeah. I was going to say that. Great job.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Wind. The wind whispers in my ears like a soothing tune. She screeches on a rainy night. The silent wind calms you down by its sound. Her mouth blows on your face, a fierce storm. Her hands are pulling you back like an invisible force. When I walk outside, she whispers my name, trying to get my attention. But when I don't respond, she pulls me back, like there's someone pulling on my t-shirt. The wind is described to be a soothing element of nature. She can also be rough and mean on days, but she's defined in many ways. She's calm by her soothing tune, rough when a storm comes by, but she will always be another element of nature.
The poet has chosen to make the wind a central character in her poem. We can't see the wind, but we can hear, feel, and see its effects as it moves through the landscape. In the beginning, we are introduced to the wind, and again in the end of the poem, we are given lines that define, sums up the personality of the wind. However, the middle is where the speaker shows us rather than tells us. She uses her interaction with the wind, which she makes female, and her many moods as a clever vehicle through which to convey its elements and the speaker's feeling about it.
Antoinette was first place also in 6th grade. I forgot to mention that.
We don't have one other mention for this second
Okay.
grade. We just go straight to second place.
Okay.
Okay, this is first place. Okay.
Second place in 7th grade.
Eric.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Eric
That's right.
Torella.
Yep.
There you go. Congratulations.
Grandpa. Grandpa, can you hear me? Grandpa, can you see me? Grandpa, are you there? I'm so lonely without you. When I see other children and grandfathers, I can't stop thinking of you. Although you are not here, I know you can hear me. You can't give me advice or help me against the world and its vices, but your spirit is with me. I know we have never met, and you don't know, and you didn't learn much about me, but I feel as though you know me, more than I know myself. My guardian angel, guider, and friend. I love you, grandfather.
The poet places the reader immediately in the speaker's mind and through the use of interior monologue. The speaker asks questions, looking for answers, and ponders his relationship with his grandfather, and in the end finds comfort in this internal exploration with an interesting insight. Your spirit is with me, but I feel as though you know me more than I know myself.
And first place is Neeb Connolly.
Thank you. Hands. A man sits, stares at his hands, that held a girl that he loved. He looks on, sees what he did, those hands big and strong, that gently lifted the girl, hands that stole and killed. He sees what he did, the ones he hurt, those suffering, those hands, rough and coarse. The girl laughs and smiles, unaware of what he does. She kisses him and hugs him, plays and dances. She cries tears of anger and sadness. She sees a stranger in front of her, not the man or father she loved. He yells and screams, strikes at the one held close. Runaway she is, never to come back. He lives alone, sees what he did, stares at his hands that once held the girl, his daughter, whom he loved.
Good job.
The poem addresses a complicated relationship. The discipline of the short lines and compact stanzas help to contain the emotion of the poem. The poet effectively conveys the speaker's love and affection and the disappointment and anger at being betrayed. This allows for the father to be seen not just in a one-dimensional way as a bad guy, but as a whole human being, both good and bad, which makes him more believable and more sad. He is not portrayed only as a monster, though he acts like one at times. This makes the feelings ring true. The poem shifts in the 5th stanza where it's clear the girl sees the other side of the father, a stranger, and the reader is aware of the loss for both.
Eighth grade. Libby Leffer.
Seasons. Winter winds blow, every day brings snow, every day goes so slow, summer feels like years ago. Clouds cover the morning sky, the birds appear reluctant to fly, the cold air makes my lips dry, I just can't wait until July. Christmas eventually comes and goes fast, January is finally past. Although I won't admit it, in winter I had a blast, but I am so happy when spring is here at last. Flowers bloom and plants grow, winter feels like years ago. The rivers once again begin to flow, nature puts on its show. April showers, May flowers, and after many, many hours, summer is finally ours. Summer is the best time of year, the sky is so blue and clear, everybody is full of cheer, but summer slowly begins to disappear. And after the 2 months of fun, fall has begun. To enjoy the last of the sun, I play and run. But sadly it starts over once more. Winter is such a bore. I don't feel like going through it anymore. Keeping up with all these seasons is such a chore. Thank you.
The poem has a nice flow and pace to it and reaches an arc in the 5th stanza when summer is finally ours. The pace words creates an energetic effect, the way we feel when rivers begin to flow again and plants grow. The lines begin to get shorter in the 4th stanza, and in the 5th stanza when summer arrives, this heightens the feelings of excitement and anticipation for the coming summer season. By the time we get to the last line of the 6th stanza, the poem begins to slow down. The reader can feel the energy begin to dissipate, and the last 2 lines are long and feel heavy and depleted of the vitality of summer we so powerfully felt in the first half.
Second place, Alexis Coleman.
The storm. When I'm with you, we chase each other around in circles, faster than the speed of light. We are like a twister. When I have to leave you, I cry. I form a rainstorm. When we quarrel, I cry and scream. We form a thunderstorm. When I breathe in to calm down, the oceans and seas come off their coast to roads, high tide. I breathe out, low tide. Then you come, you start to yell. When we are together in upsetting moods, we form a hurricane. Once we are calm, we come together in happiness to form a rainbow.
The poet uses the storm metaphor very skillfully and creatively, carrying the imagery all the way through to depict the different aspects of relationships. The speaker states, "I cry and scream," and then uses imagery of a thunderstorm to illustrate the emotion. She uses such original description in the middle of the poem when described breathing in and out to calm down using the rising and falling tides as an image. The way the poem is laid out on the page makes it look like a twister, and the pace, the changing of mood, and ending with calm with the rainbow makes the reader feel they have experienced a storm.
And first place is Alice Coleman.
Oops.
Thanks.
Congrats.
Useless things. Future without the past, a radio without a broadcast, families without a home, Italy without Rome, shopping without a mall, a phone without a call, grades without a report card, a pool without a lifeguard, a present without a party, early without tardy, magic without a wand, a mower without a lawn, trees without leaves, shirts without sleeves, the sun without its rays, nights without days, cars without wheels, heels without heels, books without pages, actors without stages, a sneaker without a lace, planets without space, before without afterwards, a notebook without words, a flip without a flop, a day that I don't shop, a train without railroad tracks, a candle without candle wax, rain without a cloud, a king that is not crowned, homework without work, a store without a clerk, a team without players, a cake without layers, miles without runways, New York City without subways, increase without decrease, an artist without a masterpiece, a winner without first prize, a supply store without supplies, a groom without a bride, a tour without a guide, a map without a compass, a spy without a spyglass. These are useless things.
There is a great rhythm to the poem owing to short lines and end rhyme, and the four stanzas all the way through. None of the words chosen at the ends of the lines felt forced just to make it rhyme. The constant repetition of without makes the poem into a chant of sorts, and the poet chooses very good images to ask the reader to imagine how useless have no value or meaning without its opposite. The poet uses both concrete images and abstract ideas to convey this theme of uselessness, and the images that were chosen were both thought-provoking and some were pure fun.
For a sec? I just want to take for a sec.
You need it. I don't.
I just wanted to say thank you, obviously, to Betsy, who has some other insight that when we hear the poems, some of the poems, we can get it, we enjoy it, but the other deeper meaning to all the poems, without Betsy's insight into it every year, it brings a little bit more to every one of these poets here, and to all of us who, myself personally, I'm not much of a poetry understander, so I look forward to hearing the. So thank you for being with us again this year.
My pleasure.
And to all the winners, congratulations, our poets.
Okay, we'd like to invite everybody to some refreshments over on the other side of the library. Get to know one another. If you've got any questions, we're around, and we've got some information about upcoming events at the library for you to take a look at as well. Did you have anything to say, Deb? Okay. Thank you all for coming.